I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy.
And I'm unapologetic.
Mock drafts here in the Sportsocracy today. A-plus mock draft. So how can your team really knock it out of the park in the 2025 draft? The New York Jets, Jeremy, your favorite team. And I understand that you have put the thumb on the scale for these guys.
I did not put the thumb on the scale. It just so happened that if Darren Muji were to listen to me, then he would walk away with a tremendous grade. He didn't do that in free agency, so we'll see if he does it here in the draft.
All right, who you got as the first selection at 7?
All right, so the Jets, for me, have a handful of very pressing needs. You've got to have a wide receiver. Because now with no Devontae Adams, now with probably no Alan Lazard, it's thin. You're Garrett Wilson and Malachi Corley, which means you're probably going to see way more of Garrett Wilson on the outside because Corley is exclusively a slot. Mm-hmm. So that means I want somebody that plays on the outside. Tight end is a wasteland for you right now. It's Jeremy Ruckert and me. You even lost Kenny Yeboah, who I just saw him on another roster and went, oh, he's been with us forever. I like him. Offensive tackle and then defensive tackle. Those are the pressing red needs for me. Linebacker and corner are the yellow needs, and then your green need is safety. Because I'd like to just have another depth piece.
Okay. First pick at 7, that's got to be the tight end, right?
I swear to God I'm not meaning to go draft day here, but if Darren Muji doesn't walk into April 24th with a Post-it note on his computer that says Tyler Warren no matter what, we are not going to be best friends, and we are not going to do karate in the garage.
No. Why would you take that away from him?
I love Tyler Warren. I love Colston Loveland too. But for me, with everything that I look at what Sam Laporta did in this exact same offense, and Tyler Warren is I don't know what the opposite of a Wish version is. He's the Macy's version of Sam Laporta. He's the Tiffany's version of Sam Laporta. So what do you think that kid can do in this offense? By the way, the comparisons to the Detroit offense are not going to stop anytime soon. Because that's what I'm trying to build. I want to see Tanner Ergstad become the new Ben Johnson. And I feel like that move piece, the guy that simplifies things down for Justin Fields, is Tyler Warren. And if you wait, I'm telling you, there's a possibility that 3 tight ends go in the first round. And I get it, you pick at 42. There's a chance that it's Elijah Arroyo and nobody else. And I don't like that fit in this offense nearly as much.
All right, for the second-round pick at 42.
This is where I basically either have to get a receiver or an offensive tackle. I'm looking at the classes, and I go back to that thing I asked you earlier. Which one thins out quicker, offensive tackle or wide receiver? It's offensive tackle and it's by a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to address the offensive tackle here. I'm not positive this kid would be here, but they've had him in the building. He was on a top 40 visit with the Jets. And that makes me think that they believe he might make it into round 2. It's Ariante Urshary from Minnesota. He could be a Wish version of Penei Sewell because he is also a giant. But he's a really athletic giant. So you look at all of the things that Detroit was able to do to the right side because they had such a good right tackle over there. I kept penciling in that Elijah Vera Tucker was going to shift out to tackle, and they were going to draft a guard. Well, if Urshary's there, that may not be the case. Because I think Urshary could slot in at right tackle right now as a legit starter and really, really help you. He does have some deficiencies because he is a giant. He's a little leany, and he tends to reach a little bit more than I want him to. But having Vera Tucker on the inside of him, I think is a really nice protection. You got Joe Tippmann on the inside of him. You got John Simpson on the inside of him. So, yes, you do have 2 really young tackles on the outside, but you have 2 giant tackles that are really athletic with a mobile quarterback, and I like that a lot.
All right, so then you're targeting a wide receiver in the 3rd round?
Well,
With the 73rd
you'd
pick.
think that, except for I need an outside receiver, and we've gotten into the slotty period. Everybody is a junior in college, and they've gone full slotty.
Okay.
They're doing Jaeger bombs and Jello shots, slotty as can be. So I'm going to bypass receiver for a minute. I don't want to do that, but I think I have to. Adding another slot doesn't do me any good. I prefer Garrett Wilson on the inside, but he can win on the outside as well. I'm looking for a big-bodied guy that can win over the top. There's not really one here. But at 73, I can go Jamari Caldwell. And now I have an interior of my line that is two behemoths with Quinnen Williams. I think defensive tackle is a way bigger need for the Jets than anybody talks about. They got annihilated with Javon Kinlaw on the field last year. Jamari Caldwell's not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination, but I think there's a lot of raw to him that you put him with somebody like Quinnen Williams. Tank, how many times during the draft process do I start talking about complementary drafting?
All the time.
You draft a guy that you already have a guy that makes this guy all that much better. I think Caldwell can develop into a really good pass rusher. That 9.3% pass rush win rate's really high for a guy that's 340 pounds. And this also keeps him. He doesn't have to play nose tackle. My big push on Jamari Caldwell is I don't think he is a nose tackle. I think he's built like one. I don't think that's where he plays. And I've seen a couple guys over the years like TJ Slayton, a handful of other guys that at this size can play as a 3-tech, and I think Jamari Caldwell could with the Jets.
Okay, so that's your pick at 73.
Yes.
Right. All right, you still got several picks left for the Jets. 110 is the next one.
Well, 110, I'm officially into that spot where every guy on the board save one is a slot. I can't go Savion Williams. I can't go Isaac Tesla. I can't go Jalen Lane. All of those guys don't do what I want them to do. If you want to take one at 42, you're going to have to shoehorn one. Because unless you're planning on taking Matthew Golden at 7, which you're not, and he's a slot anyway, there's a lot of guys that don't really fit this scheme. So now I'm going to look at one of my more mid-tier needs at a position that is absolutely dead after this guy. But I think this guy can be a stud. It's Poop Hall out of Ole Miss. Can you name the 3 starting linebackers for the New York Jets right now? If you get this right, I swear to God, I will call you a witch or a cheater.
C.J. Mosley still there?
C.J. Mosley's gone. He was released.
Okay.
So
Quincy
Jamian
Williams.
Sherwood's man in the middle. Quincy Williams that you just got. The third linebacker right now is Zaire Barnes.
Okay.
That's not good.
No.
How many snaps has
we
he
need
ever
somebody
played in the
sliding.
NFL?
17.
It's 0, and he was drafted 2 years ago. This will be his 3rd year. He has never played a snap in the NFL. I'm good. I need a third linebacker that really fits this scheme. If you look at what Detroit did, they put a lot into linebacker, and I think the Jets will too. Poop Hall with Quincy Williams and Jamian Sherwood, that is the most athletic, freak of nature linebacker core in the NFL. Didn't say it was the best, just said they're freakishly athletic. I don't.
Right,
do I want to know what you
number-
were just laughing at?
No, I mean, I'm a child. I can't. You keep saying Poop Hall, and it's fun.
Oh, so you're laughing at poo?
No, of course.
Of course you are.
Poop Hall. It's anyhow. All right, so you're drafting literal poo as the Jets do at number 110.
At least it's a small
What do
poo.
How about 145?
If you're going to be a child, I'm going to play into it. At 145, this is where I finally address wide receiver. This is more of a raw kid, but you can use the height, weight, speed off the jump. It's Dante Thornton Jr. out of Tennessee. There are not many guys on this planet that can run a 4.3 40 that are 6'5". Is he a developed prospect? Oh, good God, no. As a matter of fact, he gives me vibes of a lot of guys that I have missed on gruesomely over the years. But there's enough good tape. It's just in such small bursts. I think in time he can develop into a 2. You're going to need a veteran. And I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't be averse to bringing back Alan Lazard. Lazard plays as the 2. He's a good blocker. I know that. Thornton can run as the 4. So Lazard plays more in those 12 sets early. I can keep some wear and tear off Garrett Wilson. And I've got Dante Thornton that is a bigger guy. And probably if you push him down this rabbit hole, Tennessee didn't ask receivers to do this all that much. I think he could end up being a pretty good blocker as well.
All right, and 3 picks left. The late round flurry here for the Jets. Who you got?
At 162, I go Quincy Riley. He's built like a slot corner. He's not, because he's not a really good as a matter of fact, he's not a really good tackler. He's a bad tackler. But if you go back a year in tape at Louisville, he was really sticky in coverage. And if you look at how Aaron Glenn wants to play, that's the kind of corner that I'm looking for. It's a good value for me at 162. Deion Clark, the safety out of Fresno State, just a depth piece, but I think he could be a really good special teams player at 186. They've already had him in the building on a top 30 visit. Same thing for the pick at 207. And I swear to God, he is not in every team's mock draft, but it's Arian Smith again.
Okay.
Arian Smith's another guy that I think could, in theory, play on the outside because he did beat man coverage. He just had really bad hands. He had one of the highest drop rates I've ever seen in my life. And now I promise that is the last time we say Arian Smith of the 8 teams we're doing today, and then I reserve the ability to put him to 2 more tomorrow.
Yes. Hey, a guy with that kind of ability late in the draft, if he can figure out how to catch, or if he has figured out how to catch, he's going to be a hell of a value in those later rounds, no doubt in my mind. All right, the New York Jets A-plus mock draft. We will return from the break here, and we'll give you the A-plus mock draft for the next team in the AFC East. What are the Miami Dolphins going to do in this draft after, well, a couple of disappointing years, we'll say, for Mike McDaniel, mad respect coach, and his team? We'll be right back here on ESPN Asheville.
Well, I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy